Hi there, Ronnie here, coming at you with a video. It's been a while, but as I said in a previous video, I'm only really doing videos now as and if and when the impetus arises. And I'm afraid the situation in America, the two deaths in Minneapolis, have rather spurred this. But the impetus for this has been the resignation of Sam Healy from the Dice Tower. For those who are completely in the dark, the Dice Tower is one of the more well-known and long-running board game review channels on YouTube. It's highly respected, covers a lot of games by a lot of reviewers over the years. People have come and gone, and that's the nature of business over 20 odd years. Sam Healy was there for a long time at the start, was a full-time member. He left to join left Mythic Games, and came back to the Dice Tower in a part-time capacity. During their charity drive, I guess. Well, not charity drive, that's the wrong word. As their drive to get their finances for the year, the Dice Tower were going out into the doing videos, asking for donations. Standard practice by many. Shut Up and Sit Down, which is another board game review channel on YouTube, do the same thing a couple of times a year. They'll just ask if people want to give money. However, it would appear that that in the case of the Dice Tower, people were holding back their donations, and the reason they were holding back their donations was because of comments made by Sam Healy regarding the deaths in Minneapolis of Alex Pretty and Renee Good, where he didn't just imply, he stated outright that he felt that Alex Pretty and Renee Good shared some responsibility for their deaths, that they have to take some of the blame for their being killed. Some people took exception to this and decided to voice that as long as Sam Healy was an employee of the Dice Tower, they would not be supporting, because the money they would be giving would be going for upkeep and all the rest of it, but partly for wages. And as Sam Healy was an employee, it could very well be that part of their money was going to Sam Healy's salary, albeit he was part-time, but still. I understand that. That's the market. As I've stated before in other videos, I disagree sharply with J.K. Rowling and her views about trans people. I disagree enough that whilst my daughter is a huge Harry Potter fan, I have refused point blank to buy anything Harry Potter related brand new. Anything I've bought her in the last 3-4 years have all been second hand. That way I am able to get her Harry Potter related stuff, mostly gaming stuff. But I've been able to do it in a way that got her what I wanted to get her in good condition, but which is important to me, because if I'm going to give a gift, I want it to be in good condition. But it meant that the money I was giving wasn't in any way going to Rowling. So I felt a certain ease of conscience. There was no contradiction. Then we have the situation with the Dice Tower, and it's the same thing. People have said, you know what, I don't want to give to the Dice Tower while Sam Healy is there. Sam Healy has resigned partly because of this reason. Did he jump before he was pushed? We'll never know. The Dice Tower has been incredibly silent. I don't think is a good thing. I really don't. I don't think that's a good thing. As for Sam Healy's comments, I'm flabbergasted. There's a word for you. To suggest for a moment that Renee Good and Alex Pretty share any responsibility for their murder, and I do consider both their deaths to be murder, is frankly tone deaf on a scale that frightens me. It seems hilarious for someone who doesn't live in the UK, who is not American, to have to school someone who is American on the law in America. So here Sam is the law. There is no law against peaceful protest. You're not breaking the law by peacefully protesting, which both these people were. There is no law in Minneapolis that says you cannot carry a firearm if you have a permit to do so, which Alex Pretty did. And there is certainly nothing illegal about going to the aid of a woman who has been pushed down by armed, masked thugs. And that's what ICE are. Armed, masked thugs. To claim that their being at a legal protest in any way justifies their murder, or that they hold any responsibility for their deaths because they exercised their right to free assembly and to peaceful protest, is laughably inept on Sam Healy's part. And I think it's insane for him to even suggest the other. He certainly seemed to suggest that their murders were unacceptable, or, but the fact that he even victim blames to any degree on this is insane. They are a victim, both of them. The Trump administration, in both cases, trying to label them as domestic terrorists, to the point of wanting to open an investigation into Renee Good's wife to see if she's a domestic terrorist, based purely on the fact that they disagree with the way that ICE is conducting themselves. Now, is there a legitimate need for proper enforcement of immigration and customs? Absolutely. No one is denying that. What is being argued against is the methods employed. It's not about, Renee Good and Alex Pretty were both US citizens. ICE had absolutely no right to accost them, to try and arrest them, to try and pull Renee Good out of a car, to push that woman down who was protesting, that Alex Pretty came in to try and shield, to pepper spray them both. People saying that Alex Pretty pulled his weapon. He did not. At no point, and there are several videos, at no point did that man pull a gun. His gun was taken from him, out of his holster, by an ICE agent before he was shot 10 times. The only weapon he was brandishing was the most terrible weapon of all to an ICE agent, and that was a mobile phone with which he was filming the incident. As for Renee Good, this claim that the ICE officer was fearing for his life is utter nonsense. Nonsense. Renee Good was not, and you can see it on several videos, several, not attempting to hit that man. First of all, she reversed to give plenty of space to turn right, away from the officer. Also, self-defense only applies if the car is speeding towards a person, an officer, speeding towards, not slowly moving from a stationary position to turn. She was not moving at any sort of speed other than the simple crawl of turning. And only if he can claim imminent threat, where there was no way to move. He had plenty of space to move back. He had plenty of time and space to move to the side. He was not in imminent danger at all. He placed himself in danger. The fact that he drew his weapon before she'd even started going forward is an indication that he had homicidal intent. And the fact that none of these people are being even investigated is a stain on America's character. And the fact that the murder of Renee Good is not being investigated has only emboldened the ICE officers in Minneapolis more, which led to the unfortunate murder of Alex Pretty. There have been a couple of YouTubers, one in particular, I won't name him because quite frankly he doesn't deserve the publicity, who has stated that all of this, Sam Healy having to leave it out, is all woke. It's all woke. Fuck you. When was it woke to give a fuck about other human beings? When was it woke to call out excessive use of force? When was it woke to look at two people being senselessly gunned down in the street for exercising their right to peaceful protest? Woke. When the fuck was that ever woke? If it has got to the point in America where right-wing fuck-ups and pundits are going to turn around and tell people that if you even peacefully protest, that you deserve what you get, you're fucked in the head. If you think that holding someone to account for that fucked in the head ideology is somehow woke, then you're even more fucked in the head. I'm quite angry over this. I've got friends over in America who are absolutely petrified right now. ICE's remit has been so twisted and perverted by the current administration that they've stopped being a government body of enforcement with a very, very limited remit to essentially an armed mob. As for Sam Healy, he claims that there's a dark underbelly in board gaming that was making him want to step away. What the fuck is he talking about? If he's talking about wokeness in games, he can fuck off and all. He says he's now stepping away, that God has, he wants God. Fuck you and your God. I'm an atheist, okay? I have never seen convincing evidence that there is a God. But if there is a God, and it is the God that you pray to, I would acknowledge its existence. I sure as hell wouldn't pray to such a vile fucking thug. My wife is a member of the Salvation Army, has been for many decades. She does not recognize the God that you pray to, Sam. The Christian God that she prays to bears no resemblance at all to yours. And she's actually, as a Christian, deeply embarrassed by people like you. But I wonder if you'll take this moment to have some reflection, to reflect on your lack of compassion for other human beings, to reflect on the fact that you consider the exercise of one's legal rights to protest peacefully, to free assembly, to carry a gun. Now, I'm not a big fan of gun rights in general, but the law of the land at the moment is that if you have the proper permit, you can carry a firearm. He was. So he was well within his rights. He did not use it in any threatening way. In fact, he didn't fucking use it at all. So I'm annoyed. I'm angry at this whole situation. I hope that sensible heads prevail and that the murderers of Alex Pretty and Renee Good and their collaborators are brought to justice, arrested and tried, and should they be found guilty, convicted. But Sam Healy, as far as I'm concerned, is way out of line. Victim blaming, especially in such horrific circumstances, is absolutely abhorrent. If you were a man, Sam, if you were a decent, honest, caring Christian, as you claim to be, you would be posting up the mother of all apologies to the families of Renee Good and Alex Pretty. But I doubt you'll do that. And that is just a fucking shame.